Hey book readers! Today I'm taking a moment to share some thoughts about the books I read this month. I'm chatting about everything from a popular historical fiction and delightful dystopian to a quick fantasy and underwhelming self-help book. Let's get it going. Babel by R.F. Kuang. Let me get this hot take out of the way. The magic system in Babel is confusing. I know I'm supposed to suspend disbelief, but how exactly do words on silver bars make magic? I felt like there was a ton of time spent trying to explain this throughout the novel without ever solidifying how it actually worked. Another point that irked me, once Robin arrives at Oxford, this book speeds through the years. I felt like Kuang could have given this book the Harry Potter treatment, with one book dedicated to each year Robin and his friends were at Oxford. There was enough information there. I know it sounds like I may not have exactly loved it, but I'm giving it 4 dog ears, and I just want to make 2 little side notes here. First, unsurprisingly, it's really academic at parts, going deep into the history and meaning behind numerous words, which can slow down the book a bit. And second, this is just some random thought that popped in my head. With the magic bars taking people's jobs and making life easier in general, I saw a parallel between silverworking in the book and AI today. A Boy and His Dog at the End of the World by C.A. Fletcher. This book is set about a century after some cataclysmic event wiped out like 99.999% of the world's population. It starts out with an interesting premise of a stranger visiting an isolated family and stealing some items from them, including a dog. This turns into a cat and mouse chase as the main character, Grizz, sets off after the stranger in order to get his dog back. Unfortunately, the book changes into a completely different vibe after Grizz meets another person, Jeanne d'Arc, and they struggle to communicate. This puts Grizz's quest to get his dog back from the thief on the back burner for too long. Overall, A Boy and His Dog at the End of the World is quiet, subdued, and not an action lover's book. Remember, only a fraction of humanity survived in this setting, so it's fitting that the world is hushed and the scenery gets a bit more attention than it normally would. 4 dog ears for this book. I didn't like the mention of other books in the book. This is just a personal pet peeve. It's like a wink or an inside joke between the author and reader, but I don't exactly enjoy that. However, there's a good twist in it that I didn't see coming at all. This unexpected element grabbed my interest at the climax of the book and kept the story from being too straightforward like I was afraid it might be. Ascension by Nicholas Binge. If you want a book that'll hook you from the get-go, here it is. The fictional foreword lays out the story of a man who thought his brainiac brother had been dead for 30 years, only to find him talking nonsense in a nut house and carrying a few long letters about his exploits, which is what serves as the content for the rest of the book. Quite the introduction, right? The big picture is that a mountain appears out of nowhere, and experts in their respective fields are recruited to go figure out what's going on with it by scaling the mountain. Of course, most of the people in the first group who tried to do this either wound up dead or came back acting really strangely. This is a hard science fiction novel with mentions of the 4th dimension, wormholes, and higher beings. It gets confusing at some points, making it feel like a light version of the 3 body problem. I'm also giving this one 4 dog ears. It has an amazing start and a middle that thrives on building the sense of mystery surrounding this mountain, but it doesn't quite stick the landing in the end, so it didn't quite get to 5 dog ears. Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. After Esther's family is killed by vicious, man-eating creatures called manticores, she joins her kingdom's rookers. This respected profession is tasked with using giant birds, called rocks, to hunt and kill meat for the king. But their main task is to purge their lands of those evil manticores that seemingly pop out of nowhere all the time and start eating people. And obviously, killing manticores appeals to Esther because she sees it as revenge for the deaths of her family members. And I'm only giving 3 dog ears to this fantasy novella. There just wasn't enough happening outside the main story. No layers or depth that really grabbed me. And instead of dialing up the love story to a 10, which seemed totally possible if Fonda Lee had wanted to do that, the main character's dealings with her main squeeze are way too subdued. Not sure why that's the case. I kept waiting for things to heat up, but one or both of those characters let the opportunities pass by. Come on, give the people the bird-flying passion that they want! The Second Mountain by David Brooks. This nonfiction book is a combo of philosophy and self-help. I don't think there's anything revolutionary about it, but there are good reminders of the things in life that time and time again people point to as adding happiness and meaning to their life. Basically, the book recommends that after people chase success in different areas of life, or what Brooks calls the first mountain, we all eventually look around and think, there's gotta be something more to this. Trying to achieve that something more is what he calls the second mountain. The areas he pinpoints as extremely important are your partner and family, vocation, philosophy or faith, and community. And 3 dog ears for this one as well. There's a lot of broad topics covered, but I never felt like the book tackled any specific issues with much more than generalizations. My biggest takeaway was how servant leadership can significantly impact the 4 areas that Brooks highlights. There you have it, the highs and lows of my September 2023 reading journey. Remember to like, subscribe, and let me know if you've read any of these in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about any and all of them. Happy reading!